Memorials, museums, and annual ceremonies remind us of those events, preserving the memory of the people who died and the lessons we must remember. Subscribe to Econ so you don't miss our next videos about the world's most impactful events. On the morning of August 6, 1945, Hiroshima woke up as usual. The city had around 350,000 inhabitants, mostly civilians. Children were going to school, shopkeepers opened their stores, and markets were getting ready for trading. The city also had military presence, headquarters, weapons depots, and army facilities. Hiroshima was densely built. About 60% of buildings were wooden. Population density at the time of the explosion was nearly 7,000 people per square kilometer. Hospitals, schools, and factories were fully operational. No one suspected the catastrophe that would take tens of thousands of lives. The morning felt ordinary. The sun gently lit the streets, a light wind rustled the trees, and life went on. This peaceful city was living its last hours before the disaster that would change it forever. At 8:15 a.m., the B-29 bomber Enola Gay dropped the atomic bomb Little Boy over central Hiroshima. The bomb detonated about 600 meters above the ground, releasing energy equivalent to 15 kilotons of TNT. In an instant, tens of thousands of people were killed. The thermal blast destroyed nearly everything within a 1.6-kilometer radius, and buildings up to 3 kilometers away were heavily damaged. Temperatures at the epicenter reached tens of thousands of degrees, igniting fires and turning streets into rivers of flames and ash. Approximately 70,000, 80,000 people died immediately. Tens of thousands more suffered severe injuries and radiation exposure, which would show in the following hours and days. Survivors described chaos, people falling in the streets, buildings collapsing, smoke rising high into the sky. Whole families perished, children lost parents, neighbors vanished without a trace. Survivors, hibakusha, carried invisible but lifelong scars, both physical and psychological. Even those far from the epicenter suffered deadly radiation effects. Within months, over 60,000 people died from radiation sickness. By the end of 1945, total deaths reached approximately 140,000, including those who succumbed to injuries and radiation. After the explosion, Hiroshima was almost completely destroyed. Fires continued for several days, medical help was limited, and hospitals could not treat all the wounded. The city that had been full of life in the morning became a field of ruins and ashes. Decades later, Hiroshima rebuilt itself and became a symbol of peace and resilience. Memorials, museums, and annual ceremonies remind us of those who died and the importance of remembering the lessons of the past. Today, more than 1.2 million people live in the city, which stands as a testament to how tragedy can become a lesson for the world. This story is not just about an explosion, but about people who lived, survived, suffered, and fought for life. It reminds us that the consequences of war affect entire generations, and memory of the past is the only way to prevent its repetition. This was the story of Hiroshima. Next time, we will cover another disaster that changed the course of history. Don't miss it. Subscribe to Econ and be the first to learn about the world's most important events.